Hello and welcome to Daily Reflection with Aneel Aranha. Today is the 16th of February 2018, and we're going to reflect on the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 9, verses 14 to 15, just two short verses. Then the disciples of John came to him, saying, "Why do we and the Pharisees fast often, but your disciples do not fast?" And Jesus said to them, "The wedding guests cannot mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them, can they? The days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast." The Gospel of the Lord. It is interesting to note the difference in Jesus' tone in his responses to questions from the Pharisees and in his responses to questions from John's disciples. He is very harsh with the former, but he is very gentle with the latter, as you just saw. Why? It is the attitude of the questioner that determines his response. The Pharisees were confrontational in their questioning, whereas John's disciples wanted an understanding of the truth. I get a lot of people asking me a lot of questions about stuff, mostly related to God and the Bible, but also a whole lot of other things. Very often, these questions are asked by people of other denominations. Now, if the questions are asked with a desire for understanding, I am only too happy to spend hours explaining. But if the questions are confrontational, I call to mind the words of Jesus who said, "Do not give dogs what is sacred, and do not throw your pearls to pigs, because if you do, they may trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces." That's Matthew 7:6, and it's something for you to keep in mind. Now, John's disciples wanted understanding about why his disciples did not fast when everybody else did. And Jesus explained, saying that the guests of the bridegroom could not mourn when the bridegroom was with them. Jesus is referring to himself as the bridegroom. Why? Because John spoke about Jesus as the bridegroom in John 3:29, where he says, "He who has the bride is the bridegroom." And then John said he was just the best man, but the wedding belonged to the groom. He was the star, and of course, the star of the wedding was also the bride. And who is the bride here? It's us, the church. To quote St. Jerome, Christ is the bridegroom and the church is the bride. Of this spiritual union, the apostles were born. They cannot mourn as long as they see the bridegroom in the chamber with the bride. But when the nuptials are past and the time of passion and resurrection is come, then shall the children of the bridegroom fast. Why are we fasting now during Lent when the bridegroom has ascended to heaven in all his glory? We fast in imitation of Christ, who spent 40 days fasting in the desert before entering his public ministry. This spiritual discipline is good for our growth, as it also serves as a reminder of Christ's passion before the celebration of his triumph over sin and death. We're especially praying for you this season, and please do pray for us as well. God bless you.